They put a meter on my tab. They put a meter on my tab. I told the scoundrels take it back, cause I won't pay no water tax. Irish water shall be free to all the land well. I said, at least after all this grief, I don't have Ebola. Oh no, I don't have Ebola. Everybody, I don't have Ebola. One more time, I don't have Ebola. Oh, thank you very much.
John Delaney, who teaches Manifesto in the full-time course, he gave us a quote every week from people like Anne Bogart, Declan Donnellan, and I remember one time he said to us, theatre does not belong to the great but to the brash, so to the brave basically, and it struck a chord with me because it reminded me that you're never going to surprise yourself if you play it safe, and you're never going to accomplish anything worth talking about or worth seeing if you're always playing it safe.
Manifesto is about giving the students the freedom to make whatever they want to make. And at first they don't understand that. They're terrified at the idea of even writing something down, or having to stand up in front of a class and justify something that they created, rather than stand up in front of the class and do a speech from Hamlet. And that's grand, I can blame Shakespeare if you didn't like it, but they've got to stand up there and actually make their own work.
It's funny because at the beginning, it's like that you're kind of like, manifesto, I don't even have to spell manifesto. But then by the end, you kind of, you know what you're trying to say. Even if you're not sure what you want to say, you know that you can. There's a place for you in the world to say things that you need to say.
Our first class was very much, oh, will people like this? I don't know. And now it's kind of like, oh no, this is what I want to say, and I'm going to say it. This is how I'm going to say it.
Manifesto is a hands-on theatre making class where you kind of learn what kind of theatre you want to make and what theatre means to you.
And it's now become a buzzword because the students go where, like, I'd hear them saying, I've got a manifesto this week, I'm manifestoing this week, and stuff like that. I always found that kind of funny. But it is a fantastic class to teach because I don't really teach. I literally throw quotes at them and ideas that I have, and I let them sort out make sense of it all.
The way in which John teaches is just really wonderful because he gives you things, but he said in the first class you can lead a horse to water and you can't make them drink. Like he like facilitates your own.
He loves
experience.
the metaphors as well.
Oh, and the
always
quotes.
Full of metaphors.
The first few classes, it's all, oh, you're great, you're fantastic, oh, you're such a wonderful actor, all this sort of stuff, and I'm sitting in the corner going. And then it only takes about 5-6 weeks before there's always a few in the class who have the courage to go, that's not what we're here to do. And usually they'll start to say those things, and there's usually one poor student in every year who does something which appears to be great to all intents and purposes, and I've got to go, that was absolutely awful. And I usually choose that student very well in terms of, I take my time to go, this person can handle this criticism, and it's usually the person who will actually, everybody else will defend them and go, yeah, no, John, you can't say that to them, you can't. And that person will usually go, actually, no, you're right. And if I've chosen that person well to say that, I could say it to any one of them usually, then that person will go away and come back the following few weeks later with a piece that's completely different. And just go, oh yeah, you know, and they'll start to go, oh, maybe we should actually be questioning what we're doing.
Well, John was so funny because he used to, if you had like an idea, he'd just tell you the opposite of it so that you'd get kind of like angry or something. It was so funny that way, you know, he just always knew how to kind of wind you up a little bit so that you would make something really, I don't know, honest. He always pushed you, you know what I mean? So sometimes we came to loggerheads.
Oh, really?
But it was always that kind of, you know, he knew how to just get to you so that you would create something strong, basically.
For me, there's no standard to reach. There's there's all sorts of places a student can get to, and the only way that they'll get there is if they actually believe that there's no do my best. There's actually, I'm never going to get it right. I've got to learn from how I've failed in order to try again the next time.
Every time I panic over something, I go, oh God, is this going to be okay? Or even like with doing my own show, you know, there was such a worry around it, going, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? Are people going to come see it? And I was like, well, you know what, if it fails, I'm going to fail spectacularly with it. And it would always stay with you. I just think it's a lovely phrase.
And it's great that some of them are saying it's fail spectacular is the best advice, because if they're going out there and doing that, that's the reason everybody else thinks they're a success. That's the reason everybody else sees them as, that's who I want to go and see. That's why I like that person in that particular role, whether it's on camera, whether it's on stage, whether it's a piece of writing that they put together, whatever it is. If that's what they're doing, then that's great. That's like, that made me a very happy man if they all said fail spectacular is their best piece of advice they get.
You look at me and see a silhouette. My veins are breaking like a wild river, bursting to return to its beginnings. My skin is buried and starts to fade in my absence.
It can be difficult to watch because you kind of go, God, I won't get to have that particular thing with this particular group in this environment again. But then you see them when they go out there, and whether it's, you know, the play that Kate Gilmore wrote recently for Clodagh Duggan, or it's the stuff that, you know, over in Hong Kong is Genevieve Hulme-Beaman, or you got Stephanie Preisner, all that sort of stuff, and you go, well, it's fantastic that it started in this building with all these teachers, and those guys are able to step forward afterwards and represent us as a school and represent all those people with a great sense of honesty, you know, and integrity. It's fantastic. You can't sit there and not be moved by it. Yeah.